top 10 NFL wide receivers heading into the 2023 season. So we'll go from 10 to 1. I'll let you hit your list first. I'll hit my list. And then if you don't mind at the end, just kind of name them off one by one again, just so that people can know. And then, of course, I'll go and do the same. But top 10 NFL wide receivers for 2023. You're up, bro.
All right, we're going 10 to 1, correct here?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's start with Debo Samuel. A
Mm.
lot of people are going to be probably a little bit like, I don't know about that. I think it was just a really bad down year for him. He missed 4 games due to injury. It was one of those situations where he had basically a contract holdout last year and he's admitted he didn't come into the season as in shape as he should have been. And I think he is, because 2 years ago, his season was incredible. He was doing a lot of running back stuff, but as a receiver, he was incredible as well. I think he's just a good athlete in general, and I think he's a top 10 wide receiver at the very least, and I think he's going to prove it once again this season.
Nice. Who you got at number 9?
Number 9, Jalen Waddle. This dude had 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns as the number 2 wide receiver on the team, which is incredible. That's just, it's crazy. It's an offense that is just built and predicated on just speed. Tua Tagovailoa throwing to a spot and letting his guys go get it. And Jalen Waddle, you can use him in every kind of aspect. He can, take a speed sweep. He can take a handoff, really. He can do anything. He is a jack of all trades kind of guy, kind of like Debo Samuel. And he's just ultra fast. So number 8, I have Terry McLaurin, which I don't know. This has been kind of a point of contention for a lot of people. Like, where do I put Terry? His statistics have never been incredible, but he's getting the ball thrown to him by lawn chairs. So I can't fault him for that. Like, that's just one of those realities of, like, if he was on the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't know if they'd lose a game. That's how good of a receiver he is, but nobody knows it because he's just in Washington wasting away. And of course he signed that contract, which made me sad in general, just because I have to watch him play the Eagles twice a year. And I just feel bad for him because we're just more often than not steamroll them. And then he just looks sad on the sidelines. But I think he's a really good player. It stinks that he's in that situation.
Yeah.
Number 7, I have Cooper Kupp. Obviously hurt last year, not a good season. Year before, one of the best wide receiver seasons we've ever seen in the history.
He was on pace last year for another crazy year too.
He was. Okay, so before I wrote this down, before he got hurt, 812 yards and 6 touchdowns, and he didn't play in 8 games. That's insane.
Yep.
So I think he's still right up there. I think he's probably going to be able to climb back up this list even more this year. Sure. I just kind of put him nearing the end there just because of the down year.
Right. But Stafford coming off the surgery too. It just makes you wonder.
Yeah, exactly. Number 6, we have Stephon Diggs. I actually did not realize that he had 11 touchdowns last year. I looked that up and I was kind of shocked. I had him in fantasy and I didn't even realize that. So. But 1,400 yards from him too. That's wild as well.
Yeah.
He's just an all-around. He's a great route runner, can burn you deep. He's just an all-around great player. I just don't know if he's better than the 5 guys in front of him right now.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of situational things going on with him that I just don't know how he's feeling going into this season and if he's going to continue to be on an uptick or if he's going to decline a little bit with the Josh Allen situation. I think they're probably going to figure it out and be fine. But with that being said, at number 5, A.J. Brown, my Eagles, 1,496 yards, 11 touchdowns. So a very similar stat line to Stephon Diggs. But it was more of the situation where, and Stephon Diggs did it 2 years ago, or however many years ago that was that he went to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Where A.J. Brown changed the face of the offense.
Yeah.
It allowed that offense to open up things that the Eagles haven't been able to do since they had Terrell Owens, and that was in 2004, 2005. It was insane to watch just how much of an impact one guy can have on an offense, and I think that deserves being a top 5 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Number 4, we have Jamar Chase. This dude has every bit of talent in the world, and I think he's going to put it on display this year. He missed 4 games last year, still had 9 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards, and he's dealing with another potentially top 15, top 20 wide receiver in his wide receiver room and T. Higgins there. And so he's still getting his while, sacrificing some touches. So
Yep.
I think he's incredible. He can run. He is a great route runner as well. I think he's got it all, and I think he's only going to go up on this list as time goes on. Some of these other wide receivers getting old, and they will start dropping down. He'll start going up. With that being said, number 3 is Davante Adams. This dude just keeps getting it done no matter what. I feel bad because I don't know what's going to happen this year with Jimmy G in that situation. It may drop off because of that fact, but the dude had 1,500 yards and 14 touchdowns. I didn't even realize that was the case either because the Raiders were just not very, good last year. I just didn't pay attention enough. But Davante Adams, I thought, honestly, it sounds like a hater thing to say, but I thought he was more of a product of Aaron Rodgers until last year, and he proved to be the guy.
Career highs and all of it too.
Exactly. So I just more power to him. The dude's incredible. He's getting up there in age, but his game's not really predicated on being crazy explosive. It's about route running and positioning and leverage.
Very technical.
Hands, strong hands. So I think he's incredible. Number 2, Tyreek Hill. That guy scares more defensive coordinators than anybody else in
he does.
Probably the history of football. Like this dude can last year he took a fumble that he scooped for a 60-yard touchdown. That's so dumb. Like that should never actually happen. He's that fast, and it's incredible. Like, so he can do anything. He changes the face of that offense, even though they still have Jalen Waddle, as I alluded to earlier. But Tua, man, he can get him the ball in any type of fashion, and it's going to go for 60, 80 yards because he's just
walking one-play touchdown.
Dude, he is. He's explosive as all get out. And then number 1, of course, Justin Jefferson. Dude, he's the man. He has everything in the bag too. Like he's not, and it's incredible because he's kind of in that same Davante Adams mold where he's not the fastest guy.
Right.
He's not the quickest guy.
He's just going to outthink you all around so good.
Yeah, he just gets open, and like that's just such a massive thing for offenses, just like Davante Adams does.
Right. Great list there, man. Mine's a little similar. I like how you had the Jalen Waddles and Scary Terrys in there. It was a little tough for me, because like when you talk about top 10 in the league, you think about, okay, really every, team has 2 guys, or at least they should. So you're like, dang, it's almost like I could do top cores in the entire league or whatever it is. But realistically, I feel like if you're anywhere in the top 25, possibly of the wide receiver position, at the very least, you can have the claim to be a great, maybe not elite. I feel like more top 7 to 8 is elite, but even then, I mean, the positions are so interchangeable, and the different ways that these receivers can be used. I'm going to go 10 to 1 as well. Couple of honorable mentions here: Calvin Ridley, Garrett Wilson, Jordan Addison might surprise some of you guys. I think he was the best receiver in the draft. I don't believe he's going to be top 10 due to Justin Jefferson demanding that. Wanted to put Jalen Waddle in there as well. You did have a lot of respect for it. Actually, both of the Miami speedsters there too. Scary Terry, even Mike Evans. I believe Mike Evans can still be top 10, hell, maybe even top 7 or 8. But what's the QB position going to be like there? Possibly looked at, a DK Metcalf too. But we know, again, these top receivers in the league can be great. But out of those honorable mentions, Calvin Ridley and Garrett Wilson really tugged on me. But enough with the BS. Let's get to the actual top 10 NFL wide receivers I think we're going to see next year. At number 10, we talked about him earlier, and I'm going to give him respect. Give me DeAndre Hopkins, a guy who continues to show year in and year out, whatever quarterback it is, whatever situation it is, he's got the hands, he's got the deep threat, he's got the route running, and he's a veteran on the field. Whether it's Ryan Tannehill, which I believe in order for him to get to this top 10, it will have to be Tannehill throwing to him most of the time. But if it's Malik Willis, if it's Will Levis, DeAndre Hopkins is going to be the safety blanket, the first read, the second read, and the third read for those guys. Maybe not realistically, but we understand what's going to happen there. Wesley, I saw you said don't talk about A.J. Brown. You're still sad. I totally understand. Did do a little bit of a updated prediction on the Titans. Gotcha went at about 5 games instead of 2, like I said earlier. But let's go on to the number 9 wide receiver. This one was a little tough for me, again, because you can put so many guys in this top 10 list. But when I think about a guy's numbers, consistency, what he does for that team, give me CeeDee Lamb. And the person that's ahead of him on the list kind of reminds me of him too. But at number 9, give me CeeDee Lamb with the Dallas Cowboys. Again, his receptions have went up every year. I want to say I know his yards have went up every year. He continues to be that great option for Dak Prescott. Now he's definitely the wide receiver one. Brandon Cooks does come in, who could also be in this top 10, top 25 receivers in the league, traded a record amount of times. But we know what Brandon Cooks is capable of, just like we know what CeeDee Lamb is capable of as well. At number 8, a receiver that a lot of people I feel like have forgotten about since he left the aforementioned Dallas Cowboys. That's going to be Amari Cooper. Even with only having Deshaun Watson for 6 games last year and having a very shaky quarterback room up until that, Amari Cooper still had over 1,000 yards receiving, still had one of his best seasons of his career. He can be that deep threat. He can be that great route runner. And Amari Cooper is, I wouldn't say he's a do-it-all receiver, but in terms of playing in the slot, playing outside, the types of routes he can run, getting the, going for a go ball, going up for a 50-50 catch, you can really trust Amari Cooper to, I think I might have said CeeDee Lamb earlier, my bad. You can still trust Amari Cooper to be that type of guy. And with Deshaun Watson now being able to throw him the football, it's going to be even better. Deshaun Watson is a quarterback that I have a lot of hope for coming into next year. Because I saw what he was before all the off-field stuff. Number 7, I believe, was also your number 7. That's going to be Cooper Kupp for me. Again, even though he had a very odd year last year, because he was injured and did, fall short, he was still on pace for another 1,700 yard season, still had the insane, almost record-setting season the year before. And it does make you put him a little lower on this list because he is coming off of injury. He is coming off of, his quarterback is also coming off of a major injury and had surgery as well. So you just want to make sure things are going to be on the up and up there. Sean McVay, being the head coach, he'll definitely make enough plays and room for him in that offense. At number 6, give me A.J. Brown, who really bursted onto the scene with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was already on the scene with the Tennessee Titans, but now pairing with Jalen Hurts, pairing with Nick Sirianni, having a Devontae Smith, and I believe still a Dallas Goedert in the building yes, that is right, to be able to, just have that other option for Jalen Hurts, but still be able to get A.J. Brown open as well. His play in the Super Bowl where he kind of stopped running his route and then sped up again. I'm sure you know exactly what play I'm talking about, where Jalen Hurts threw the bomb to A.J. Brown and he kind of faked him out, or he stopped, pretended like he was going to catch the ball, and then kept running forward and just totally, God, I can't remember which corner it was, but definitely made a fool out of him in a way. So I got a lot of respect for A.J. Brown. Number 5, Davante Adams. Didn't want to put him this low because at any day, just like Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, they can be the best receiver in the league. And I think there's only a few guys that you can actually say, yeah, he can be the best in the league, no doubt. It's going to be weird with Josh McDaniels now in the second season. It's going to be weird with now Jimmy G coming in. And it's not that Jimmy G won't be able to throw to Michael Mayer or won't be able to throw to a Davante Adams, because he's going to be a great number 1 option. It's not that he won't be able to get the football to him, but I do believe Davante Adams' production will take a hit. And I'm sure some people can ask how, because of look with Aaron Rodgers now going to Derek Carr. Jimmy G's not a gunslinger like Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers were. Jimmy G isn't fearless like Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers were. You're talking about some games Davante Adams literally had 15, 19, 22 targets a game from Aaron Rodgers. Maybe not the same with Derek Carr, but even then, they were teammates. This is very different here. And Jimmy G and Davante Adams, or at least on the Davante Adams end, isn't necessarily feeling what the Raiders are doing right now. Number 4, Stephon Diggs. Kind of wanted to put him lower. He could have easily went higher, but we've heard he is very, very unhappy, apparently, this offseason. Sean McDermott said it was very concerning that he missed training camp, and you never want your star receiver who really elevated your superstar quarterback in Josh Allen, who has a major contract, to the level that he's at, and not have Stephon Diggs in the room. I think he's still going to be very productive, still a great sharp route runner, still one of the smartest in the game. 11 touchdowns, like you said, 1,400 yards. He's been up there in receiving yards ever since he's went to Buffalo, and I don't think that'll be anything changing here. Number 3, the walking one-play touchdown, the menace, the cheetah, Tyreek Hill. Nothing more to say there. We know if he hits a gap, he's gone. He can take a screen. He can take a go route. He can take a slant. He can take a post flag to the house. He could easily be the number one receiver on this list. A lot of people think he is the number one receiver. If Tua was a lock for health and consistency against all NFL defenses,
Yep.
all tiers of NFL defenses, I think we could be talking about Tyreek Hill higher. But number 3 is nothing to scoff at for the Cheetah. Number 2, Justin Jefferson, maybe the best route runner in the NFL, really a younger Devontae Adams. Good speed. He doesn't have to burn you. He'll just break your ankles on any type of route. He'll also take it to the end zone. Best rookie wide receiver we saw at the time. The best first 2, or I think it might be a stretch of 3 years now we've ever seen from an NFL wide receiver. And then his counterpart, who also played with him at LSU. I believe Ja'Marr Chase will be the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL this year. He did have a little bit of a tail off from his rookie year. But we also saw he dealt with a hip injury, and people forget that. He still went out and put up, I think, 8, 9 touchdowns, still over 1,000 yards. I think he had about 250, 300 yards less, but he did miss those 3 games. So I do believe Ja'Marr Chase will be the best wide receiver in the NFL. I believe the Bengals did shore up that O-line more. We know they're going to be elite. We know they're going to be one of the teams that really hangs in the AFC this year. So my top 10 wide receivers from 10 to 1. DeAndre Hopkins at 10, CeeDee Lamb at 9, Amari Cooper at 8, Cooper Kupp at 7, A.J. Brown at 6, Davante Adams at 5, Stephon Diggs at 4, Tyreek Hill at 3, Justin Jefferson at 2, Ja'Marr Chase at 1. Will you go through yours again one more time
I
just so
will.
that people
And
will know?
respect to you on doing the Ja'Marr Chase thing. Not a lot of people have the the cojones to do that. And I respect it because I think he can easily be up there very soon. Like you said, within a year, this year he could go crazy. So
I really think he will.
I respect the top 10 there. Mine was number 10, Deebo Samuel. Number 9, Jalen Waddle. Number 8, Terry McLaurin. Number 7, Cooper Kupp. Number 6, Stephon Diggs. Number 5, A.J. Brown. Number 4, Ja'Marr Chase. Number 3, Davante Adams. Number 2, Tyreek Hill. And 1, Justin Jefferson.
Yes, sir. Sounds like we had them all about the same. I think we just switched out our all we did was switch out our 8, 9, and 10, but our top 7 were still unanimous, just in a little bit of a different order. I wanted to put Deebo in there too. I know he is a very good player, very good receiver. He can be a great running back. I don't buy into him as being a consistent top 10 receiver. And now with Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, Sam Darnold. Excuse me. Can't forget Sam Darnold in the quarterback room. It just it just kind of makes me nervous as we go on into as we go on into the deeper times of Deebo Samuel's career.